Hey, how y'all doing out there today? It is Saints Falcons rivalry week here on Grown Folks Sports Talk and also in Atlanta Bird Game. How y'all doing out there? What's going on? It is Steve here with you. Been a minute. Had a bye week myself. Just wanted to take a little time to rest the vocals and do something else. We actually celebrated, my wife and I celebrated an anniversary this week, 19 years together, and very happy to celebrate with her this week. Took a little time to get away from things and spend some time with her. So thank you, Kira, for all this love and her patience for me doing this show a lot of times. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Well, you know, it's time to get into it. And I know during the bye week, especially when we're not in things, especially when you're a 1-17, it's hard to get hyped for anything when you're a losing team. And right now we're a losing team. We are what our record says we are. I don't care how many pep talks, how many times we talk ourselves into it, how many unrealistic goals about winning 8 straight, things like that. We're 1-7. So we are what we are. But this is a special week. And the reason why this is a special week, folks, because it is Falcons Saints week. And again, I am Steve on Grown Folks Sports Talk. How y'all doing? Atlanta Bird Game. How y'all doing? Got a couple of people coming in here. Hey, Gregory, what's going on? How you doing? Paul, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that, man. Then also, we're live on YouTube as well. So if you guys go to the YouTube page, which is Grown Folks Sports Talk in the ATL, just go over there, subscribe to that page, and not only will you get this, but you'll get all the archives that we have and we've been building for the season. So again, it's rivalry week, and you know what? Whether we were 1-7, 7-1, 4-4, whatever, this is still the Saints, and I hope people don't lose sight of that, and don't think for 1 minute that Sean Payton isn't losing sight of that. And when I say things like that, I say that to say Sean Payton knows this is a trap. This is a 1-7 team who is getting destroyed, who is really not playing for anything. But guess what would make our day? To get a win in New Orleans against a team that everyone is pretty much basically picking to go at least to the NFC Championship. The way San Francisco is playing, it'll be interesting. But a team that everyone is picking to go at least to the NFC Championship. The Saints are rolling. They got their general back last week. Now he has another week to rest that thumb and stretch it out. We just got news across the wire that Matt Bryant, he's gone. Matt Ryan returned to practice. So it's rivalry week, y'all. I mean, let's not. We can sit here and debate all day. I've been hearing all the debate, every subject under the sun, which is fine. I mean, I threw a couple of posts out there too. So look, we're not only bored because it's bye week, but we can't have any talk about playoff picture. We can't talk about home field advantage. We can't talk about, what's the key to the next game, because we just need a win. right now. And who stands in our way of our next chance of getting that? But our good old buddies from New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints. Again, Steve on Grown Folks Sports Talking ATL and Atlanta Bird Game, also on YouTube. So what I thought I would do is have the forum today for you all to discuss your favorite Falcons Saints rivalry moments, because I know I have a few, and I'm pretty sure whether you're new to being a Falcons fan or whether you go back as far as I and even further back, about what were your favorite moments in the Falcons Saints rivalry. There are plenty. Contrary to belief, the Falcons actually are ahead in the series, in the franchise series head-to-head. But they actually, New Orleans has pretty much dominated us in the Drew Brees era. But there are still moments in there that we all can talk about. So what moments to you stand out in the history of this rivalry between Atlanta and New Orleans? I'm going back down and said, Gregory, some talk trash about my Falcon hat, a Dallas fan. I said, funny, our season record is similar to the Dallas playoff wins and losses, especially over the last 20 years. You're absolutely right. Kim Folk, how you doing? The moment we beat them in the playoffs, that was one of my moments I was actually going to put up back in 1991, I believe it was, and that was the Michael Haynes last minute touchdown, if memory serves me correct. But that was actually a really good moment. I was starting to think about some of those cousin versus cousin moments with Mike Vick going against Aaron Brooks back in the day. Those seemed to be some moments that were absolutely must see at the time. The Saints weren't great. We weren't really great, but Michael Vick was in the middle of the Mike Vick experience during that time. And some of those Falcons Saints games were back and forth and just good TV at the time. Falcons Saints, one of those rivalries that is just so underrated. People don't look at us as Cowboys, Redskins, and I don't know, in the lately New England Patriots and New England Patriots against Indianapolis, those type of rivalries. But I tell you what, this is one of those hate rivalries that goes way back. And I think with the Falcons, it started back really when, for me, it started back in the 70s, back in the Archie Manning days when Archie Manning was the quarterback. And Archie Manning was a really good quarterback. People kind of slept on him. I mean, he'd be crucified today because he didn't win a lot. But Archie Manning was a really good quarterback back then. Okay, Lisa, how you doing? Said 52-48, Atlanta has the advantage. We do. However, I think they have more wins during the Peyton Scarface era. Oh, man. Got a notification. Yeah, I just got that. I just, right before you shot on, Lisa, I just mentioned that Matt Ryan is practicing. No big surprise. Mere fact that he said he was going to try to, the mere fact that they thought he was going to attempt to play in the last game we had right before the bye, kind of let you know he probably just needed it to rest a little bit. So that's good to go. Gregory said that Debo pickoff in the end zone forever embedded in my mind. That was a huge moment, and I was really ticked off. That particular game, I had to work, and my wife and my son had an opportunity to go to that game, and I just remember them sending video back showing the excitement around. That was the one when Sean Payton foolishly got the penalty at the end when we had a third down, I think, and they thought Devonta had fumbled the ball or something like that. So that was something else. Lisa says, last year when Chad Johnson visited our training camp, the Aints got mad for over a week. Falcons and Aints were blowing up his timeline. Chad literally said, y'all still fighting. He said that he didn't know the rivalry that strong. Absolutely. This is one of those rivalries, again, that it might not get a lot of press, But I guarantee you, Sean Payton will not let those cats overlook us. I know Drew Brees will not let those guys, the newer guys, he will not let them overlook this game. Trust me. Every time Drew Brees gets the ball in his hands, he is going to try to stuff it down our throat. You can believe it. If they score 60, he's going to try to score 67. Trust me. He's going to keep putting his foot to the pedal and try to beat us. So from that standpoint, it'll kind of be interesting to see how we approach the game. But I mean, we're in a have nothing to lose at this point status. I heard a couple of things about the coaching changes and shakeups and all of this and all that. Listen, when you're 1-7, it sounds so horrible, but look, I just want you to win. I really don't care how you do it or what you do. It's obvious we passed the bye week. Dan Quinn did not get fired. I am thoroughly surprised that didn't happen. But you know what? He's here. So we're going to have to go to the next phase. And the next phase is trying to beat these Saints and at least kicking off the second half of the season with something good on the resume. Many times when we come into these rivalry games, I remember the 2016 Super Bowl year, and we had the last game at the Dome that I was at where they rolled out all the past Falcons, and we blew the Saints out in the first half, and the Saints came back and made it a game and almost won that game. So listen, this rivalry is real. Those Falcon players, if it's any game they want to get, you know they want to get this one. Lisa said that wasn't a shakeup. That was a musical chairs type of move. Nothing remarkable is happening right now. That's my thing. I would hope that they would do something that would shake things up. It's just amazing to me that after a couple of weeks, that's the best thing you can do to motivate your team, your fan base. But I know they're not trying to do coaching changes for the fans, but you know what? You better give the fans some effort the rest of this way, because you're working on your fans for 2020. And you're probably working on those fans that's ready to jump ship from buying tickets and everything under the sun for this. So again, let's talk about your favorite Falcon Saints moments. And I have a couple of moments. Kinfolk stole one of my moments. One of my top 5 moments I had down here was the playoff win against the Saints. That was actually the one that Deion Sanders. That was the too legit to quit year. The MC Hammer all over the sidelines year. Really good team. Jerry Glanville guys did a good job that year. Ran into what turned out, I think, to be Washington made the Super Bowl, but they lost to Oakland that year. But that was actually a really good team that particular year too. Lisa says, I sort of feel bad that Roddy White is going to be honored in December at the Panther game. The stadium will likely be less than half full. Who knows? Sometimes when they have those special things, maybe you might get a little bit of fandom there that people might want to come up and show up during the game and give Roddy his due. But you're right. I mean, the way this team is going right now, it's going to be hard for, to get excited for that. Matter of fact, if anything, that's probably something that, the Falcons need to build around. I would think that would be something that they would say, hey, let's see if we can build some momentum and get folks to come out. I mean, Roddy White is a big draw. Roddy White is part of the old, regime. Maybe that'll get some light underneath. I don't know. Maybe that'll help us out. I was also thinking, and this was back in my younger day, and this was my mom and dad used to take trips down to New Orleans quite a bit. And I just remember this game because this was the year coming off of the 1977 year, the Grits Blitz, and We were 7-7. We had just set the record for the least points in the NFL. Defense was super tough. And that was the Archie Manning era. And we were in New Orleans. We were down 17-13. And the last minute play, Steve Bartkowski, I'm just pronouncing his name all wrong. Steve Bartkowski went back and threw, which probably became one of the more iconic plays in Falcons history, which was Big Ben right, and threw the ball up. And over on the side was a couple of Falcons tipped the ball, and Alfred Jackson jumped up, grabbed the ball, ran into the end zone. Falcons basically sealed the win 20-17. It turned out to be quite a few games that ended up being 20-17 during that little time period, but we pretty much owned the Saints during that time. There was also the 34-34 game where we were tied, and we ended up blocking the punt of Russell Erxleben, and we blocked the punt and won in overtime 40-34. That was one of the big wins that we ended up having in that. So what are your big moments? What big moments do you remember from the Saints-Falcons rivalry? We haven't had a lot. The Debo interception definitely ranks up there to me. I think that was one of the moments recently, one of our smile moments. Definitely the Debo interception, pick six of Drew Brees, which was earlier that year in New Orleans, which marks the last time we swept New Orleans, which is the 2016 season. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. But that was one of those times where you just kind of look and say, wow, how much has Drew Brees really dominated this team? I look at those, and that's the Dan Quinn era. And I look at those two, the sweep and the Debo interception. And really, aside of that, I'm not sure we won another game in the Dan Quinn era. I don't think we have. I know we got swept last year, and we were swept the year that Dan Quinn's first year. So our success against Drew Brees, man, that's why I say when that guy leaves, I have no love for him when he's on the field or whatever, but you cannot deny the clutch gene in his DNA, because he is always there. He's always beating us down. And I can't wait for him to finally give it up. He looks like and sounds like he's going to be around for a while, but I guess he showed he is human by getting hurt a few weeks ago. But so again, what are your favorite Falcon moments? And just tell me what you guys think about the game coming up and how we're going to do this. While we're sitting here, I am going to make one announcement that we did, and it's very exciting because I've been working on this at a couple of places, but finally broke through. Was able to finally break through with one of the restaurants down here. We will on Sunday after the game be recording live in McDonough at Dave and Buster's. And I want to thank the general manager there, Greg Sims, for allowing us the opportunity to come in, and we'll be talking live from Dave and Buster's. We'll actually be there for the game, but we won't be able to do any taping until after the game. We have an area over to the side. Feel free to come over and check us out. Feel free to come and hang with us. We'll be there at the Dave and Buster's at McDonough. That's exit 220. No, I'm sorry. That's exit 218 off 75. Go at 75 South. Get off at exit 218, turn right, make another right. And you'll see Dave and Buster's brand new, just opened early this fall. We will be recording live at 5 o'clock. Obviously, we'll be there earlier than that, enjoying the game, but we'll have a little section roped off. We are going to be there talking to a couple of folks, a couple of guys that you guys know, John Harris will definitely be there. We have a couple of other surprises that will be in the area. So if you don't have anything to do, and I understand it's still the Saints and they're dominating and whatever, but you know what? It's Falcons Saints, man. We got to show up. Sometimes, even if it doesn't turn our way, we still got to be there for the support. And just would love to see you all out there. We will be there starting at game time, but then after the game, we will be setting up for our normal post-game show, where it will start at 5 o'clock. So if you all want to be there and you all want to get a chance to holler at us all, we will be at Dave and Buster's on Sunday for the Falcons Saints game. After the game, we will be on the air talking to you all. So tell your friends, let me know if you do plan on being there and want to join us. Hit me on the messenger and inbox me and let me know, and we will have a place in there. Feel free to, like I said, tell your buddies, tell your friends, family. Dave and Buster's is a beautiful facility. Finally got something on the south side of town, which is great. We don't have to go all the way up to Gwinnett County or Cobb County to get something really nice like that. So join us again. Thank you to Greg Sims for allowing us the opportunity to do this. I was hoping this year we have more playoff games to talk about, but you know what? It's Falcons Saints, so let's go ahead and get down there. So you guys, if you want to join me, we'll be talking about this for the rest of the week. Join me at the Dave and Buster's at 239 Highway 81 in McDonough. Brand new Dave and Buster's. Join us. We will be there this weekend. Bring your kids and let's enjoy yourself. Going back to the discussion, Bryson said, other than the Debo picks, I remember beating them in 2010 in their own house. See, that's the problem. You have to go way back to 2010. And I'll be honest, Bryson, I hate to say that, but I don't even remember which game. You're going to have to probably let me know what were the circumstances behind that. Montoya, how you doing, ma'am? Gregory said, I can also tell you what moment pissed me off. The one where they got that Dave statue outside the Superdome, infamous block punt. I was going to say that. We were talking the best. Now we're talking the worst. That was absolutely, positively the worst. Maybe one of the few times in the history of the Saints-Falcons rivalry that I did kind of say, you know what, they're going to win that game no matter what. They were coming off the Katrina thing, all the stuff that was going on down there, and just, you know, seeing the people weeks before that game and the settings and how people were displaced and all of that, and to know the power of sports entertainment and to know the power that brought everybody together. When that cat went in there and blocked that kick, man, I mean, you knew that was it. That was totally it. And I don't even have hate for that moment, but that really changed the franchise, because that was Drew Brees just kind of getting his feet wet in there. But once they got that basically changed the fortunes of that franchise, because before they were kind of a peddling franchise like us, and every now and then they make the playoffs, but most of the time they go back to their regular 6-10, 7-9 season. But that particular moment, you must give credit where credit was due. That was one of the great moments, not only in Falcons Saints history, but probably in NFL history. So it is what it is. Again, Steve Johnson here on Grown Folks Sports Talking ATL on Facebook Live and YouTube. Also in Atlanta Bird Game. We are happy to announce that we will be live at Dave and Buster's this Sunday at 5 p.m. We will be live doing the same show that we do every Sunday at postgame. We will be there to talk about it, win, lose, or draw, hopefully win, and get a chance to meet some of you all. Just, I know a lot of you all shoot me messages, talk about wanting to see each other and stuff like that. Well, here's an opportunity. I'll be talking about it today. I'll talk about it tomorrow. But if you guys get a chance to, and you want to join us down there, let us know. Send us an inbox. Send me a messenger so I can know that you probably are coming at 5, and we'll get a chance to get you on for a little bit. We'll probably be down there until about 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock just to take some calls and see how everyone's doing for the game, and just a good chance to fellowship, man. These will probably be one of the only 2 times that we'll feel good as a fan base to get together, because there's nothing better than getting together against these sorry Saints. And they're going to be at Dave and Buster's. They're going to be at every bar. You'll see more Saints fans in this city come out at the bars than anywhere until Thanksgiving. And of course, they're coming in droves and Thanksgiving. But that being said, we will be there. So you guys make sure you reach out to us. We'll be there on Sunday at 5 o'clock. One of the other great moments I was thinking about was the 2012 year, where we went to the NFC Championship and lost to San Francisco in the Georgia Dome. Was the 5-interception game against Drew Brees. And that defense that particular day, that was back when Willie Moe was still doing things back there in the secondary, and Curtis Lofton was still navigating things. Babineau was in the house. I think Babineau actually got an interception that day. I know William Moore got an interception as well. But we intercepted Brees 5 times, and we ended his consecutive touchdown streak. Remember, he had the streak where he had a touchdown in like 30-plus straight games, and he was coming close to the actual record, but didn't quite get there. We beat them, I want to say it was 15-7 that game, and we had like 5 field goals or something like that. But that's one of the memories that I also have of the rivalry between the Saints and the Falcons. Again, things to look forward to. How is this team going to look coming back out of the bye? Sean Payton has had our number for a long time, and there's no team in the NFL. He'll tell you to your face, he'll love that Lombardi, but it's no team he likes beating into the ground more than the Atlanta Falcons. So you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to try his best to humiliate us on this stage coming up, and he's probably waiting to humiliate us at Thanksgiving. That's going to be interesting to see how they come out. Matt Ryan coming back off of injury. Interested to see how he does and how he comes back. Also, some interesting news. I got a chance to see NFL.com where they send the alerts. And Jerry Rice had a segment with Nate Burleson where he was talking about best receivers in the game and who had the best feet, who was the fastest, who was the toughest, who had the best hands. And he said his best overall wide receiver in the NFL is Jet Jones, number 11. That's who he said. He said Julio is a beast. He did throw in a little jab and say Julio is just playing for a bad team. Not really so much of a jab. I guess it is the truth that he's playing on a pretty bad team this year. So really interested to see how these guys bounce back after the bye. I think these next couple of weeks are going to tell you more about the players than they are about the coach. I still think no matter how this season ends, unless it ends with some miraculous way of holding up the Lombardi trophy, Dan Quinn is out of here. So it'll be interesting to see the psyche of this team, just how they bounce back, what they do, and how they show up. Gregory says, another piss me off moment last season. Our glorious defense let Drew Brees break 2 tackles for a touchdown scramble. As slow as he is, that should approve Our D needs work. I hate losing, but not worse than the Saints loss. And I hear you on the Saints loss. I'm gonna have a caveat there. The only thing I'm gonna say about that, Gregory, that gave me just a little bit of pause. Now, the two guys who did bump into each other were veterans, but we had just got gutted that game, remember, because I think that was the game we lost Rico, I think, in the end. Or was it Ricardo Allen that game, or was that Neal? No, we lost Neal the first game. But we had been gutted a little bit on offense, which is why we were going back and forth. If memory serves me correct, we had the lead near the end of that game. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Drew Brees had no reason to get into the end zone. He actually scored twice during that game. So yeah, that's one of those moments that you just hate as a fan. Anytime Drew Brees has a chance to stick it to us, you know he's going to do it. And look, sounds like they're going to have all their arsenal back. Kamara will be there. Thomas will be there. And you know, we keep talking about Drew Brees, but what's been really good about the Saints this year is that defense, man. That defense has been doing their job. Their secondary is still suspect, but that front seven and Cameron Jordan, I'll be the first one to tell people that I thought he was kind of, you know, fake tough and fake good when he first came on. Cameron Jordan is pretty doggone good. And as the leader of that defense, he anchors a defensive line that is kind of nasty. So I look forward to seeing how the Falcons react. We have to play the game. You can't hide from it. You have to play the cards you're given. And right now, I think we're gonna see how this team reacts after the bye. They've been home. Look, I hope they all got away from Atlanta, because if they sat here and they listened to sports talk and they stayed on social media and you know the players, they're gonna say, no, we didn't do that. We didn't do that. Some of them do. Stop lying. A lot of them look at some of the same blogs. They look at some of the same reports. They look at some of the same criticism. And they have to look within themselves. Yeah, the Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitroff stuff aside, the players have to look within themselves and say, wow, we are 1-7. This team, are we really as bad of a team as the Jets? Are we really as bad of a team as Miami? Are we really as bad of a team as Washington and Cincinnati? Well, the record would say you are. But these are those moments that, starting today at practice, they have to look within themselves and say, we have to turn this crap around. Because, yeah, you're not going to get the lofty record and you're not going to go to the playoffs, but there's something prideful about trying to win a game. Some of you all have been going through the tanking situations and stuff like that. And I've always said tanking is a losing mentality. Why adopt it? Miami, for everyone who is talking about they were tanking, they actually tried really hard and did a pretty good job against the Jets, albeit the Jets aren't that much better either. But if they were really tanking, you know, you would see it. And I think that Miami is trying to be competitive and trying to do what they need to do to win the game. So that's what I want to see out of the Falcons the rest of the way. You want to see some fight. Zachary said, Monday night, I was in attendance for Deion Jones' TD return to the house. Rookie year, awesome moment. I'll be there this Sunday too. Good job. Good job. Good job. Look, root them on, brother. Root them on. Bro, what, if anything, positive can you take away from the first half of the season? I think our tight end had come a long way since Tony G left. I give Hooper a lot of credit bro, because I know he's worked a lot with Matt Ryan on the offseason. That's been well documented. But to see where he started from and where he's come, he's on right now on path to be the Pro Bowl tight end for the NFC. Matter of fact, if we were winning a little bit more, he probably would get a lot more press. Hooper is definitely somebody I look at as one of the positives for the first half of the season. It is so hard when you're 1-7 to bring positive. Grady Jarrett, listen, Grady is still Grady. And I like the fact that he got that contract and that didn't fat cat him. He continued to work. He continues to press. He continues to hustle. And he doesn't look like he take a lot of plays out. Grady has really been pretty solid on the team. I really do. One of the surprise people that I know people are going to point out mistakes and things like that. I like some of the things I'm seeing early on from Sheffield. I know there have been those rookie moments, oops, and he got past me. But I've also seen a lot of moments where I see him right in the face when they were playing more of a man defense, where I like his play as a new defensive back. So I give him a little bit of a nod, maybe a C, but yeah, that's about it. Really, Matt, C- at best. Julio, B- to C. You can't really give great report cards when you're 1-7. You can't. So that's the only thing I pretty much put on there. Gregory said, I agree, Stephen. We need a coach with fire. Quinn ain't that. No, he's not. He's not anymore. And it's time to move on. It really is time to move on. He's been a beast since coming in the house. Yeah, Grady is absolutely somebody that you look forward to seeing what he does in the future and how we're going to move forward. He also says, I think the coaching has to work on situation awareness. I find it interesting, some of the moves that Dan Quinn made, especially putting Raheem Morris back with the defensive backs. Now, that could be something that he's doing also to give Raheem a little bit more connection with the defense. Remember, that's how Raheem got his trade. That's how he ended up getting the head coaching job in Tampa. He was not an offensive coach before. He was the defensive coach and then got elevated to that job at Tampa Bay, where he did an okay job. But at the end, there were some things there saying that he kind of lost the team at the end. But it's just going to be interesting to see how some of this stuff plays out. Dan has not publicly said whether he's still doing the play calling or not. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But they had a week or so, and I know they were off a week, but I'm pretty sure the guys knew what the game plan was going to be coming into this week. And look, what better team to put yourself up against than right now the number 2 seed in the NFC, and that's the New Orleans Saints. This will tell a lot about what you are as a team, what you are as a coach, which I think we've already shown what he's about. But it'll be just interesting to see. Gregory says, I also agree, Stephen. The rookies would be a little better in man than predictable behind, no stopping anyone's zone. And I don't know whether that's a Dan Quinn thing, Gregory, and maybe that's why Raheem is taking control of that, because maybe Dan Quinn is saying, you know what, maybe that secondary is something somebody needs to look at with a more critical eye than I am, because I'm absolutely failing. So let me get somebody back there who's used to being in their face and used to being hands-on with some of those guys. Fobro say, I saw when they put Jones in the slot, which forced the defense to adjust quick. Was a smart move, but we didn't go back to it. Yeah, look, it'll be interesting also to see offensively how we go. There have been flashes from this offense. Even when Matt Ryan was there, I know people want to look back to this little lucky 460-yard game that Matt Schaub did, but folks, please don't look more into that than what that was. Seattle sat back and kind of let things happen. Don't overblow the performance by Matt Schaub. Yeah, that was okay. But if you think for 1 minute that's a better option right now, even on a 1-7 team, if you think right now that's a better option, then you're delusional. I'm sorry. But what they need to do on offense is really work on that running game. I don't think the passing game is in dire need of a lot of adjustments. I just think we have to learn how to run the ball. I mean, I don't even care if they go to the little pee-wee wedge play where they interlock hands and just everybody just scrunch together and move. But we've got to find a way to run the ball, because if you can't run the ball and you become one-dimensional, you're setting up for all of those sack numbers that we always give up with Matt Ryan. Yes, Matt's to blame for holding the ball a lot more than he's supposed to. But at the same time, if teams know that, hey, Devonta can't run, so why worry about it? So I think we have to run the ball. We don't run the ball, it's going to be a long 8 games in the rest of the year anyway. So I don't know. Gregory says some fans are not football smart. Schaub is fool's gold, exactly like Fitzpatrick. That's my point. For people who think Fitzpatrick is as great as he is, okay. Team number 6? Yeah, and he's an all-star. Robert, what's going on, man? I think it's the front 7 that's the issue. No pressure on the quarterback, and the defensive backs can't cover receivers for 30 seconds each snap. Schaub's performance proved a lot, in my opinion, too. Yeah, look, you've got to be able to run the ball. Plain and simple. The Devonta Freeman project is done. Let's give these young guys an opportunity to get on the field. Why are we not seeing Allison? You gave us a little smidge of Hill last week. Let's see what he can do. Right now, the Devonta Freeman thing is really just you're being loyal. And I understand it from Dan Quinn's point. Those are the guys that got him there the first time. Those are the guys that got him there during his second playoff year. I get it. It's hard to let go of that. But when you're 1-7 and you keep doing the same crap over and over again, and you come up with the results that you're getting, I just need you to step back and see if we can make some changes. I'm not suggesting that you sit Julio down and let other receivers come out. I'm not suggesting that you sit Matt Ryan and let Matt Schaub or whatever other quarterback is on the practice squad come up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is go back and look and see if there are some people that you might want to give some opportunities to. I don't know what doghouse Allison it is. It's just interesting to me that they're not even letting that cat come off the practice squad. And I almost hope somebody signs him off the practice squad and takes him off the team, because teams can snatch you up and do that. Just whatever. Forbro says, can you address the drafting of a mobile quarterback? Listen, when you look at Seattle, when you look at Houston, and when you look at what Lamar Jackson did to New England, I'm going to tell you what, y'all, I have to apologize ahead of time, because I thought, especially with the throwing problems Lamar was having last year, I thought Lamar Jackson had not bust, but had underachiever written all over him. I'm going to tell you something. Lamar Jackson is about this close. Still want to see his passing become just a little more accurate. He's this close to being Patrick Mahomes. And when I say Patrick Mahomes, not from a throwing sense, but from you basically can't stop him right now. Did you see how he was very Vic-like in those moves, cutting through those lines, step back a little bit, and he saw a crease, and he would hit that crease. It started reminding me of the guy who was in Louisville. And so I go back to the question about mobile quarterbacks. these days, with the athleticism of the front lines and the linebackers and the quickness, I think it would behoove you to go out and at least experiment with getting someone who can move around a little in the pocket. I'm not expecting you to run for 500, 600 yards, but I am expecting you to be able to get out of the way. Deshaun Watson has shown that if he needs to, he can get his 20 or 30 anytime. But he tries to stay in that pocket. That's a quarterback. That's the type of quarterback I'm looking at. So are we going to be in the Tua sweepstakes? I don't think so. But I would love to see someone like Jalen Hurts drop to the second round and we be able to pick, because I don't think Jalen Hurts will get picked in the first round. I would love to be able to pick somebody like him up that you can work with and start with. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself because I really didn't want to get on 2020. I wanted to stay on the Falcons Saints, but I understand why when you're 1-7, it's hard to get up about anything else. So I absolutely get it. Robert says, Cutter isn't running the ball. That's the problem. He free averages 12 touches per game. That's not good enough. Running back speed off touches. That's true. And sometimes just because a running back starts slow doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the end of the game. You have to keep the defense honest. Even in the Shanahan era when he was here, notice Free and Coleman got a lot of touches, even if they only got one or two. But then by that third quarter, when the defense have to play up, those safeties cheat a little bit, that's when Matt was at his best, when that play action was working, when Shanahan had that ball coming out a lot quicker. Those were the opportunities that we took advantage of during the 2016 season. I will say, Robert, you're right about the 12 touches, but there's just still something about Devonta right now that it just doesn't look like the runner from 3 years ago. It doesn't. And I know he's had a lot of wear and tear, but for the last 2 years, he's actually had a lot of downtime too. So, but I agree with you as far as more runs. Gregory, yes, I agree. Ollison is a battering ram. I don't get why he isn't used. It has to be something. Has to be something on the inside. Anthony, what's going on? I told people that Lamar Jackson was the real deal. Anthony, listen, I apologize again because I just knew coming off last year. Last year, he had too many moments where he looked deer in the headlights, even though he was a rookie. But when you unseat a Super Bowl quarterback, I know Flacco isn't the greatest in the world, but he was still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know, it's going to raise eyebrows. So maybe Harbaugh saw something and he saw an offense, or whoever was the offensive coordinator saw an offense that he would be able to mold and get into. Again, I'm saying it while we're coming into the next hour. Just a reminder to those of you in the Grown Folks Sports Talk on the ATL and in the Atlanta Bird Game, we will be live at Dave & Buster's this Sunday in McDonough, 239 Highway 81 in McDonough. I'll be talking about it the rest of the week. We will have the show there. A couple of you folks that y'all normally see on here will be there with us. We'll be there live after the game on broadcast. We'll actually be there during the game. So if you do see me, come say, hey, we'll be there. Bring your kids. We'll talk about it the rest of the week. But Dave & Buster's this Sunday, Falcons Saints, we'll be there. And then after the game at 5 o'clock, we'll have the setup in there. Feel free to come join us. You want to get on air and shout out. We appreciate the folks at Dave & Buster's. Thank you again, Greg Sims, for the opportunity to be able to broadcast there. Going back, Anthony says everybody was all on the Mayfield hype train. Now look at him. Now see, Baker Mayfield is somebody that not even because of his ability. I actually think Baker Mayfield's going to be okay. I think he's going to learn his lesson this year to kind of shut this a little bit and play more. He was already, listen, how many times have y'all looked at the commercials? You see more Baker Mayfield commercials, you would think it's Peyton Manning. You would think this guy is Hall of Fame. You don't see Russell with those quarterbacks. You don't see Aaron Rodgers, you do. But it's just amazing to me that they anointed this cat, the Nets coming publicly, and he kind of sucks this year. That being said, I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think he's going to come back. He's going to learn. This is a learning curve year for him this year. He's going to learn that you got to shut up and play ball, stop all that little petty, I'm still in college crap, and just go out and win a game. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you like a coach, you don't like a coach, you think this person is good, that's not on your team. You know, all your little brash comments, they don't mean jack when you're 2-6. When you're 2-6, who cares? Nobody cares. Trust me. Bro, when you have a basic defense like we've been playing, it's easy to break it down in a few seconds, just like Deshaun did. I know. Gregory, yeah, Lamar is good. He exposed the Pats. They wasn't playing nobody. He exposed that with pure talent. Yeah, New England, I've said this year, New England, I truly think this is Tom Brady's last year. Not that Tom Brady still can't throw a 10-yard out. Tom Brady doesn't look like he's into it like he has been over the years. I just don't see that. I could be wrong, but they have a pretty tough schedule the next 3 or 4 games. We'll see how they end up turning out. But I don't think New England in the AFC, because the AFC is so weak, they're still going to get a home game. Right now, they got a great advantage because they won first 7 games, and now they're 7-1, I think. So are they 8-1? Whatever. They have 1 loss. But I think they're going to have all of this stuff definitely helped. They helped at least get a head start. Lisa, our play action was the bomb that season. I missed Sark and Cutter. I missed that. Sark and Cutter haven't come close. Not at all. Nope. And had we got Gary Kubiak, that was going to be a key. That was really going to be key. I really wish that Kubiak was able to come here instead of Cutter. That would have been interesting. Harbaugh had those Ravens coached up for that game. Excellent plan to beat those Patriots. And if y'all watch that game, if not for those turnovers that Baltimore did, I'm not sure the Patriots would have scored but maybe 1 touchdown. They were dominating that game. Anybody who looks at that score at halftime, don't be fooled. Baltimore was dominating that game. They were self-destructive. They fumbled a couple of times and just kind of screwed their own selves up. But other than that, that was a total domination. The 37-20, that doesn't even show how much they dominated that game. Robert says, I agree. It looks like Freeman lost something. He usually makes that first guy miss, but not lately. Here's an interesting tidbit, though. When Freeman has 15 or more touches, his yards per carry is 4.6 or better. It's been only twice that this has happened because Cutter doesn't run the ball. Yeah, and those are things that you have to evaluate too, Robert. From a Cutter standpoint, do I let the running game try to build a little bit? Now, the problem is when you play a team like the Saints, you can't get down more than 10 points and keep running the ball. That's the only problem. If we're running the ball to loosen up the defense, I get it. But if that ends up with us getting 3 and outs and putting that New Orleans offense back on the field, then you can't experiment with the 15 touches. You got to find a way to stay in that game. If we let New Orleans get more than 10 points away from us, it's a done deal. Drew Brees will step on your throat. Trust me. And he will dink and dunk his way all the way to a win. So I agree with you, but at the same time, we can't just keep beating our heads in if we don't get the running game started. You got to get what got you there, and that's the passing game. David, and Allison is not getting timed. Is that reason we needed Quinn and Dimitrov gone? This team needs to be evaluated top to bottom. Yeah, it's one of those things too, David, where now that they haven't made the moves, I guess it's obvious that they're going to stick with these folks to the end of the year. Everybody's on audition. Everyone right now is auditioning for 2020. I think Quinn. I think Quinn is pretty much, his audition is done. I think Quinn is gone no matter what. I'm almost wondering, is Blank waiting for them to get eliminated from the playoffs? If they get eliminated from the playoffs, is that the move? Is that when he's going to make his move? I'm not sure. Robert said, I thought Sark did a good job. He was a scapegoat, in my opinion. If you look at the numbers that Sark put up, Sark actually, that offense actually did some good things near the end. And especially last year. Last year, they were a decent offense, but the defense was gutted because of injuries. Not an excuse in the NFL, but Sark was putting up better numbers than Cutter is right now. Anthony Moss, I'm sorry, but I'll never get over that jet sweep at the 2-yard line. Yes, I remember that. Also, we were talking about memories from the Saints and the Falcons. A lot of you brought up the playoff game back in the too legit to quit area. I brought up the bit being right. If you all don't know what that is, look on somebody's YouTube or something like that. Probably one of the iconic moments, especially from the Atlanta side of things, down by a touchdown, and the Falcons threw the ball up in the air. Bartkowski threw it up. Ball was tipped. Alfred Jackson runs it in. That was just a classic win. Go back and check it out. It's really good. Robert, I'm focused on that run game because a good run game can help our horrible defense. Being able to control that clock and keeping our defensive unit off the field can be nothing but a plus at this point. Absolutely. So again, Robert, dude, if you have to do a wedge, if you have to do double tight end, if you have to get the fullback more involved, do whatever you need to do to run the ball. Because I said that at the very beginning, if you can't establish the run in the NFL, you will not win. You will not win. You have to establish some semblance of a run game. Think of what Baltimore was doing at the end. And go back and look at that second half specifically. After Baltimore got the ball and ran it in off of the fumble and scoop, every series ran the ball first down, ran the ball second down, and if they needed a little bit of yards, Lamar would either go back, scramble for it, or go back and dink it to the tight end who had a really good game. It was his name, Boyce. They did that the whole second half. By the time New England was getting on the field, the Baltimore guys were fresh. They were coming in there trying to kill Brady, and you know Brady doesn't like to get hit. That's the key to winning NFL games. You have to rush the ball. You have to have some semblance of rushing the ball. Even if you don't get all 10 yards in the first two plays, at least get 5 and 6 so you could get put in a manageable 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. That's when the Hoopers of the world, maybe the slot receiver. I like Gage. Gage is coming along. Somebody with some decent hands. Gage caught some really good balls last week in the game. So I really like that. Gregory, hey, Steven, also talk about the Panthers backup made Cam expendable. 19-point win against the Cap next year and not the way the backup play. I'm going to tell you something. And I did go back and look. Tony Jackson and I were having a conversation about that. The contract for Cam Newton next year is for 19. Well, actually, it's 20 point something million dollars. But if they cut him, it's not a lot of dead money because all of his bonuses were already paid. They would gain $19 million in the cap. Now, think about that now. The quarterback is doing a really good job. McCaffrey is probably in second or third as far as your MVP. And that defense is starting to remember how to play defense. That looks like the Carolina defense that went to the Super Bowl a few years back. They're starting to play ball. Where does Cam Newton fit in that? And, before this year, they were talking about the extension for Cam. 2 years in a row. Shoulder, foot, the injuries. Will there be loyalty in that? I don't know. The NFL changed. Look, if Carolina comes on, I'm not saying they're going to overtake New Orleans, but if Carolina continues to win and becomes I don't know, if they win 10 or 11 games with decent play from their quarterback and McCaffrey carrying them, Cam Newton might be looking for a new team. No, I'm not suggesting Atlanta. I think there would be way too many distractions here in Atlanta if he were. And plus, we have a quarterback with a lot of money on our books as well. So we're definitely not in that conversation. But Cam would be an upgrade in Chicago. Cam would be an upgrade in Buffalo. So you never know. But yeah, I think Cam's time may be running out in Carolina. I hear you. No, I know what you meant, buddy. Brandon, best memory, Debo pick six. Everybody, that play there, because it was at the beginning of the year. And I think that was either game 3 or game 4. It might have been game 3. And we were going to New Orleans. And again, we were coming off the 8-8 year that Dan Quinn, we won the 5 straight, lost 6 straight, and all this and all that. The uncertainty going into that 2016 year. And go back and look at that. I'll go back and look at these games all the time. We kind of dominated that game. And Drew Brees was about to make his move. And this time, give credit to one of our former players, Brian Poole, came in and made a little tip. And then Debo took the ball to the house. And Debo, he's all in Drew Brees' head anyway. I'm pretty sure they always see where 45 is. But yeah, that stands out as one of the best moments. Again, we're talking about best moments in Falcons-Saints rivalry. The game is coming on this Sunday. Again, we'll be at Dave & Buster's, 239 Highway 81 in McDonough. We will be there to watch the game, but also after the game at 5 o'clock, we'll be on live. We'll be taking the show on the road, per se. Again, thank you to the management at Dave & Buster's for allowing us to come on out there. David Starks, we're already eliminated from the playoffs. Actually, not true. We can't expect the Aints or Carolina to fall back to us. San Francisco is undefeated. We've already lost to 2 wild card teams head to head. We've already been eliminated mathematically. It's just semantics. Okay, as long as you said the math about the semantics. Yeah, I get what you're saying, David, but elimination is elimination. We're not eliminated. I get what you're saying. I believe what you're saying. But technically, semantically, or however you want to put it, we are not eliminated. So but I understand where you're coming from. What's up, Jay? All I saw this past weekend was Frisco and Baltimore was fullback clearing the way for the run. Well, again, whatever it takes to move the ball, whatever you need to do, whatever scheme you need to do to get your running game started, you must get the running game started in order to be successful in the National Football League. You cannot pass for 500 yards. I remember the argument clear this summer. Oh, I hope Matt gets 5,000 yards and 60 touchdowns. No, that's not what you want from your quarterback. Go look at the numbers from Lamar Jackson. Just as many touchdowns, but he's not throwing 400 yards a game. Now, granted, he has an extra skill that most quarterbacks don't, but you don't have to put up astronomical numbers in the passing game to win. And matter of fact, as Robert alluded to earlier, you want to slow the ball down. You want to take time off that clock. You want your defense to get rest. When your defense is jumping off the field and then they're coming right back on, I mean, you're not giving your guys the rest they need. We need this defense here, the way we struggle, we have to give them time. And trust me, a 6-minute or 7-minute drive means everything to a defense that has to deal with Drew Brees. You want to stay on that field. I don't care which. Listen, if you go first down, as long as you don't get penalties, don't get pre-play penalties, don't get holding penalties, but just run the ball solidly. I don't even care if it's a 2-yard game. Give me 3rd and 6. Give me 3rd and 4. Give me 3rd and 5. And then you have the tools then to be able to get that. You don't have to rear back and get 30-yard pass. There is a time for that, but you don't have to do that. It's great that you can do that at times, but I see too much where we're trying to wait for the big one. And sometimes it's a matter of just get the little stuff, bite off little chops of yards. Do the New England, where you got the running backs coming out every now and then, getting that little 5 yards. It's crazy. Kinfolk say I was at the home game in 2008 when we beat them so bad they were leaving the dome by halfway through the 3rd quarter. And they were salty. Absolutely. They should have been. They should have been. And like I said, the Saints fans don't remember the pre-Breeze era. They don't. They remember the good times, which you should. You know, right now they're in a good place, so I don't blame them. If we were there, we'd be right there with them. Robert Price, who was the last 1,000-yard rusher under Cutter, I believe it was Turner. It had to be Turner because nobody ran for 1,000. Doug Martin, he may have one of those years. You know what? You might be right. He may have. But no one who, look, 1,000 yards, what was that, 80 yards a game? Maybe even less than that. I mean, it's not like that's crazy. But 80 yards on the ground definitely can keep the defense guessing. And again, it pulls those guys up a little bit, made those safeties cheat just a smidge, knowing that they have to play the run. Right now, we don't have that. Nobody is scared of Devonta. Matter of fact, the safety say, you know what, I'll play back here because I don't even think Devonta's going to get through that first wave. And if he's not getting through that first wave, I mean, our job is done. We can sit back here and wait for that little floating ball after Matt Ryan gets hit and just take the interception. So I don't know. But when you start talking about, we're going to get more on the keys of the game tomorrow when we start talking. But I just feel like you need to go to a different. We've got to do something different. We've got to do something different. Whatever we've been doing is not working. It's not. So coming off the bye week, coming off a week to rest, a week to resort what's going on. I am anxious to see what the coaches have planned for this game. You have a lot on your hands this week. Not only do you have to deal with defending one of the most versatile offenses, where you have a beast at wide receiver, you have a beast at running back, and you have a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing them the ball. On a defense that's been playing lights out, especially a defensive line, Cam Jordan, one of the most underrated defensive linemen right now in the game. I know the Bosa boys are getting a lot of love, but I think Cam Jordan is close to double digits already if he isn't there as far as sacks are concerned. So we have our hands full. And I know it's going to be tough to look and say, man, what advantages do we have? What disadvantages do we have? We have to be able to exploit whatever this team gives us. They have a horrible secondary, even with Lattimore and I forgot the other little guy, the guy who missed the tackle, Marcus Williams, and all those guys. The secondary is suspect, but you got to get to the secondary. So if we can get that running game going, maybe we can get some plays inside there. We'll see. But right now, I just want to see what the game plan is coming at that game. We're going to shut things down for today. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll get more in depth about the head-to-head stuff again. We'll be talking about it all this week again. We'll be at Dave and Buster's on Sunday to watch the game. Then at 5 o'clock, we'll be on the air at Dave and Buster's live. Y'all come join us down there. Check us out. If you are interested in coming, y'all let me know. Inbox me. I'll be talking about it all week long. But if you don't have anything to do, have some kids that want to play video games, come down, check us out, and we'll see you all down there Sunday. But again, we'll be back on tomorrow to talk about keys to the game and what else is going on. Other than that, we'll check y'all out later on. Saints Falcons, man. Let's do it. I know the season has been horrible and it's not that great right now, but let's go down and at least show we still got some Falcon pride. Y'all be good. Peace. See y'all tomorrow.